He's coming, he's going, he's coming, he's going. Will Starmer survive? When will he be sacked? Is it a case of when rather than if? Assalamu alaikum and welcome. This is the only way up. So, how many prime ministers has it been in the last 6, 7 years? So, there was Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak, Liz Truss, and now we've got Keir Starmer, and he looks like he's going to be leaving. What's going on?
Yes, Arkham Shani. I think the UK Prime Minister role now is becoming a bit like the London buses. You know, you wait 4 years for an election, and then too many leaders turn up one after the other. So I think if Starmer was doing well and he was delivering, and this happened, I think he'll be in a different position. The problem is what's happened now with Peter Mandelson, Epstein, and then his some of his key advisors resigning or being sacked. All of this comes in the context of 18 months. Starmer and the Labour Party have turned out just to be completely useless. And what's really happened is the Tories were so hated that Labour looked like the clean alternative party. So if you remember, for the last few years of the Tory leadership, he didn't have to do much, Starmer. The Tories were doing so poorly, they were so hated. He just had to just stand there and look, I am the alternative, which is what the Labour argument was. They've come to power now, and the problem they've had is if you look at that cabinet, David Lammy, Shabana Mahmood, you got Starmer, none of these guys have any cabinet experience. In fact, shockingly, the closest person in Labour that had cabinet experience was Peter Mandelson, who now ended his career in glory. And what you find is slowly, Keir Starmer started doing U-turns and everything he stood for. He talked about nationalising the railways, did a U-turn on that. And in the end, he's really just done what the Tories have done all along, which is, okay, how do we serve the rich? How do I keep serving Israel? Which is what one of his key things was. So Keir Starmer, even before his 18-month anniversary, was in the unenvious position of where Rishi Sunak was more popular than the sitting Prime Minister. And then now this has happened, and actually he has no idea how to deal with this. In Prime Minister's question time in Parliament on the 11th of February, he got absolute battering. He has no idea what to do, and the problem really you have it is Starmer has never really stood for anything. What he's really done is tell the people what they want to hear. I'm about nationalising the railways. I'm about making change. I'm about doing the opposite to the Tories. And actually, he doesn't stand for anything. So what's happened since then? He's been doing a U-turn on everything he said he believed in. And because the Tories got such a smashing, he's been able to get away with it. So he's being completely useless. The Tories are out of the equation, and this is why Reform are the leading party when it comes to all the polls. And then now this has happened. You know, he knew about Peter Mandelson. He knew about his relationship. He still made him the ambassador to the US. He still maintained a relationship with him. So it's only taken 18 months for the first scandal of the Labour Party to happen. And as we've seen through the last 10 years nearly, even if he survives a vote of no confidence, even if he survived this round, the beginning and the end has begun. Is going to happen. Remember, Boris Johnson won the internal vote. Theresa May won the internal vote, but they were still, forced to stand down afterwards. Even though there isn't really an alternative to Keir Starmer in the Labour Party, but what will happen now is the knives will come out. The opportunists around him will see the opportunity. So although they've come out at the moment, the cabinet said they support him. His days are numbered, and in fact, I think more revelations are going to come out. And the only thing he's ruthless with was the left of the party. He's destroyed the left of the party, destroyed Jeremy Corbyn's career. That's all he's really good at. When it comes to dealing with the rich, when it actually comes to dealing with the Tory party, he's actually been very, very weak. And that's why the timing of this scandal to do with Peter Mandelson, it's come at the worst possible time. But even if it didn't happen, this is the guy where Rishi Sunak is still more popular than him. So, I think it's inevitable. The Labour Party have a bit of a different system compared to the Tories. I think with the Tories, I think you just needed a certain percentage of the parliamentary party to call for a vote and they stand up. I think with Labour works a bit differently. But I think it's inevitable. I think in the end, if this goes on for a while, which it will, and I think more revelation will come, he will know it has to go. And I think probably it's worth keeping an eye out for who's ambitious, who senses an opportunity. And I think as the weeks go on, you're going to see people start to distance themselves and putting their cards on the table. If you remember, only a couple of weeks ago, Keir Starmer ensured Andy Berman can't become an MP and compete with him. Uh, so he probably thought he'd put any competition to his position to rest, but here we are. Here we are. And again, very telling of the politics of the West. It's very in a flux all the time. There's really no stability. And this is going to happen when you're not there to really represent the people. When you're really there to serve the elite, when you're really there to transform the economy in a way that it serves the elites and not the people, these things are inevitable, really.
And I think it's clear that not only is this, a decline of a prime minister, but this is a civilizational decline and a great power decline. What do I mean by that? In terms of, Britain has been the home of Magna Carta, the cradle of democracy, the free market enterprise, the City of London, cool Britannia. Uh, that was nice when you had a big empire, when you were leading the world. But now it's not so good when you, as Mark Carney described, as a middle power. You're on the losing side rather than on the winning side. And this is the inevitability of a capitalist world order where there's winners and losers, and even amongst the winners, there's more winners and there's less winners. And now we're at a stage where there's only a few winners and majority are losers. And in Britain, this is termed as managed decline. That's what's going on, rather than being upfront with people and saying, though the people sense it, obviously everyone's feeling it. It is a decline of Britain as what it is as a power, as a capable nation. And secondly, I think it is a civilizational decline, as in it doesn't know which way to go. It's fighting between left and right. How far right you got reform? How far left you got green? The center ground is gone. It's lost its identity. What is Britain? Can you put a finger on it? Who it is, what it believes in, which way it's going? It's losing its identity. Um, Now difficult times have come. When it was the empire, it was easy. You can uh, cover up the cracks with a lot of money, a lot of wealth. But now the wealth isn't there. Um, it's losing its mind, and hence you're seeing a lot of change of prime ministers over the last few years.
Cool, that's it from my side, bro.
Yeah. And the only other thing I think it is symptomatic of changing of prime ministers, and also I think it will be this money decline is linked to um, the breakup of UK in terms of Scotland. Uh, if they win SNP win elections, they're going to be requesting a referendum. Same goes for Northern Ireland. If they win the elections, they'll be requesting a referendum by 2030 for unification with Ireland. So I think the change of prime ministers is symptomatic of this broader chaos that's pervading UK and its decline from a major power to a middle power to going into a very, very small nation. So leave your thoughts and comments below. Jazakallah khair for listening, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.